Oh, that's so fucking stupid. Oh, he's dead. This is going to be your guide to using Mew in Pokemon Unite. Now, Mew is the most complex character that has been released so far in Pokemon Unite, so it's strongly recommended you watch the entire video to know what is going on with this Pokemon. If you enjoyed the video or if it helps you out in any way, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, comment your thoughts down below, and check out my other Pokemon Unite videos so you can get better at the game. As for the held items on Mew, I'm going to take the Talonflame approach because this is the most squishy, frail, delicate Pokemon I have experienced in the game. Focus Band is going to do nothing for you. The base defenses don't matter, the healing doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Also, your Unite move makes you invincible, so Buddy Barrier also doesn't really do much. Now, Mew has supportive qualities, and it's like, oh, but Buddy Barrier, and then like passing it off, but Buddy Barrier is too nerfed. Doesn't really matter. You are an insane glass cannon, the likes of which we have not seen in Pokemon Unite so far, so you want to get the most damage possible. Really, the only thought comes down to Shell Bell or Wise Glasses, because Mew has an outrageous amount of special attack, and it gets even crazier if you're running all special attacking items and you're getting scores down. So Wise Glasses, for that percent, actually matters. For most Pokemon, it doesn't. But since Mew isn't running Focus Band or Buddy Barrier, and is going to have like the score specs anyways, the Wise Glasses just adds an insane amount of damage, but you do have long cooldowns. So the 4.5% cooldown reduction is going to matter on Mew as well. And then after that, score specs and choice specs are self-explanatory. You are damage. That is the Pokemon. The Pokemon is damage. Let's go and check out the battle items. So battle items, right now we are in League of X Speed. Pretty much everyone's running X Speed, and that's also kind of made it to where Slow Smoke is just not viable. And really, it's about the X Speed. You either want to catch up to someone to get your empowered auto attack to then kite away and do some crazy stuff. You want setups, you want to dodge opponents' abilities or stay out of like a dangerous zone. And remember, you are super frail, so getting away is pretty good. Eject button, people just have X Speed, so if you would flash away, they're either going to use their crazy mobility in their kit to run you down, or they're going to X Speed and run you down, or they're going to eject button and run you down. So there's really no benefit to eject button right now. Also, the cooldown's super long. X Speed, it's up more. Potion, you're too frail to matter. X Attack, special attack scaling is weird, even though you have like an insane amount of it. I just didn't feel as comfortable with the X Attack, and yeah, nothing else really matters. Full heal, you're dead. Like, the second you cleanse, like, crowd control doesn't matter. You are dead before the crowd control even matters. That is how frail Mew is. And now it's time to talk about Mew's abilities. It learned 6 of them, so we might be here for a while. I want to get into the gameplay, I want to show you how this Pokemon works, but it's very complex. And that even goes into its basic attack, because the empowered basic attack doesn't charge with attacks. You have to use your moves, and then depending on how those moves interact, you actually get more stacks. When you have 3 stacks, you get an empowered attack, and then the further you are from your opponent, the more damage it does. So actually, if Mew's about to KO you and it's burned all of its cooldowns, the best way of dealing with it is running into Mew, so the empowered attack does very little damage, and it's also super frail. The best thing to do is not respect Mew and just dive and collapse in on it. But yeah, the basic attack, you want to put distance on the opponent, and like we saw in the opening clip, you want to do crazy amounts of damage. Synchronize. So this is the gimmick of Mew. You are able to change your moveset on the fly. There is a cooldown. The icon goes on cooldown after it's used. Each time the Pokemon knocks out or makes an assist on an opposing Pokemon or scores a goal, cooldown is reduced. But you also have a little bit of extra ability passive. Each time the Pokemon uses a move, it and nearby allied Pokemon have their movement speed increased for a short time. It's not crazy, but it's nice to have that little bit of extra kiting and burst. So now we can get into the moveset. It's Pikachu's Electro Ball. Has the user hurl an electric orb, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon in an area of effect, leaving them paralyzed for a short time. Move deals more damage the lower the opposing Pokemon's remaining hit points is. Unfortunately, Unite DB has not updated at this time. Let me refresh off screen really quick. No, so the individual numbers, when those come out, will have it. It's probably on Game 8, but they have a weird format. They just show the level 1, level 15, and don't have too many extra details, but it's just Pikachu's Electro Ball, and with Mew scaling and the other interactions, it's just better. So, strengthens the effect of the paralysis instead of strengthening the execution, but still pretty good. Solar Beam. This is going to be the main move for Mew. It's just better Venusaur Solar Beam. If the move hits any opposing Pokemon, the user gains 1 additional boost counter, reduces the move's cooldown by 1 second for each opposing Pokemon it hits. Now, that's harder to show in the practice tool, so there's going to be like a core combo to using Mew that I break down, but if you just hit all 5 enemies with a Solar Beam, it's pretty much back up at that point, so can be spammy. Also, cooldown reduction and the way the Pokemon stats level up. So yeah, something to take into consideration. Upgrades at level 10. And then we also have Surf. Has user charge forward on a wave, shoving opposing Pokemon, leaving them unable to act. This move hits any opposing Pokemon. User gains another boost counter. Also gains a shield and becomes immune to hindrances like Blastoise. Upgrade is strengthening the effect of the shield. You can also hop off. Yeah. It's got the combo. So you have Pikachu, Venusaur, and Blastoise, and you have really powerful interactions with that. Coaching has the user move towards an ally Pokemon. It's actually a blink. It's a teleport. Mew just goes there, which is pretty powerful. Increase that Pokemon's basic attack speed while giving a shield. It's Helping Hand. It's actually Safeguard plus Helping Hand, but no immunity to hindrances. Using this move on an ally Pokemon designates that ally as coached if it isn't already. If this move is used on an ally Pokemon that is not coached, cooldown immediately resets. So you can keep going to different targets, and then you can come back to the main target. Coached ally Pokemon cease to be coached after a set amount of time. The cooldown of Electro Ball, Solar Beam, and Surf is reduced each time the move is used. And then Upgrade reduces this move's cooldown. Also reduces the waiting time before this move can be used on a recently coached ally. So it means, like, you don't have to put it on full cooldown. You can just tag everyone on team. There's less time until, like, there's less time for the coaching to wear off. Then you do it again and cooldown doesn't get triggered. So it's a thing. Sounds really broken, but it doesn't give Mew a shield. So if you use, like, if you try to go in to support an all-rounder Pokemon, you're just going to get blown up and KO'd. But it is nice for kind of like cooldown resetting, but it's all about the light screen. This puts out a barrier similar to Mr. Mime, but then you can call it back in. Opposing Pokemon cannot pass through the wall and will be shoved if they make contact with it. If the Electro Ball, Solar Beam, or Surf passes through the wall, the effects will be boosted, damage, range, area of effect. If the move is used again, pulls the wall closer, has it move with the user. While the wall moves with the user, attacks from opposing Pokemon will deal reduced damage. So, yeah, you have a lot of crazy stuff. The upgrade increases the size. And then Agility. Agility is like the least impressive one. Has user move quickly in a direction. So you dash, you gain some movement speed, you get 2 charges, and then you get more distance on upgrade. Is what I have to say about it. It's kind of a small dash, even on upgrade. You get your synchronized speed after using a move, so it kind of sets up. But it's really just throughout the light screen and then just crazy, stupid damage and stupid effect increases. And then you have your Unite move. Has the user float higher, create a field at current location, and become invincible. User and ally Pokemon enter stealth. After a set amount of time, the move deals damage to the Pokemon in the area of effect. Very simple, pretty strong. You cannot cancel it early to like pop it and do extra damage. So yeah, you just kind of sit in there, wait for cooldowns, cover up some of your ally Pokemon, and then when it pops, it does a ton of damage, and you can just go and kind of combo off of that. Alright, so when playing Mew, the first rule is you always go Solar Beam Light Screen because it's just so much damage, and it also lets you get a double leash on start for just insane amounts of value and insane amounts of damage. Also, as we talked about, using Light Screen and then putting Solar Beam through it will amplify the damage, and even though this is APOM and the practice tool hasn't updated with the Sky Ruins, you can still see, like, look at that crazy damage. Do a couple of games, or maybe when the practice tool updates, depending on when you're watching this video, go in, practice, see what your level 3 is against both top and bot. As for lane assignments, I think Mew does pretty good top because of the Natus. You just yoink away the Natus, you stack that score specs, and that's really where it seems like the game is going right now, that the map was designed to be like 1-1-3, but you can't coordinate that in rank, so even 2-1-2, you just rush scores. You go for the scores, which was bad. Like, that was terrible. Separate video, separate guide on how you're supposed to play the game, and then, like, you just use your Solar Beam to steal what they're going for. So then you try to steal as much as you can, and you just go for the stacks. The thing about Mew, though, is that it's super frail, so it doesn't like to be overextended. It doesn't want to run through enemies to go through scoring, but it can still be pretty successful that way. And then, like, yeah, you pop the X speed, you steal the Citrus Berry, or you run in, use the light screen to kind of like push the opponent away, score your 1 or 2 points, X speed out, Solar Beam steal. Even if you die, it doesn't really matter as long as you're getting stacks. So it's kind of messy. As for bottom, it's kind of the same philosophy. You just use it like a Mr. Mime kind of idea, where you just get complete dominance by stealing and out-securing everything from the enemy Pokemon, because you just, like, have that at level 3, and it's so nasty. And if you line it up to where you're also, like, damaging the opponent and things are happening with your teammates, it's just crazy. I saw you. That's not balanced. Alright, so that's enough about laning. Like, Pokemon Unite laning inside of a character guide is kind of weird because there's a lot of fundamentals and there's a couple of niche things Pokemon does. The more you play the Pokemon, the more you'll just understand where it belongs in lane at what times. But level 5 is where things get crazy, because that is when you get the ability to change your moves on the fly. And here's the weird thing. At this moment, Light Screen Solar Beam is so broken that you don't have to hit the L button at all. Now, it does kind of speed up your Unite, so if you just kind of have it and you're looking to kind of like get your Unite charge faster, you can just hit it and then mash out like I did earlier, where it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm not forced to change my moves. I just do that. It's for Unite charge. It's pretty good. And then you are super frail. You need to play as safe as it gets, but then you're just kind of like stealing Pokemon, picking people off, chunking them out, doing crazy amounts of damage, and then just waiting on cooldowns while playing around your passive. So that's like the giga success around Mew, is your empowered auto attack just doing crazy stuff, and then outrageous damage on Light Screen Solar Beam. But you might have noticed, using Solar Beam generates 1 charge. Landing Solar Beam generates a 2nd charge. Using Light Screen generates charge. Activating again will actually give you a 2nd charge. So now let's put that all together. So what you want to do is you want Light Screen Solar Beam, and you can cast that super fast. So you can just kind of use the empowered auto attack and then get a lot of craziness. But this is where the Mew combo comes in. So Light Screen Solar Beam, empowered auto, back it up, do tons of damage, cast in your Light Screen, that's 1 charge. Your Light Screen is still up. Use Solar Beam through the Light Screen that is still up for another empowered auto, and as you gain cooldown reduction through levels, you can then do another empowered auto through the Light Screen. That is the combo. Remember how everyone thought Power Punch Lucario was good when the game first came out because they were just too bad to understand that, like, extreme speed resets into Bone Rush and then you can do like 1,000,000 casts, and I was the first person to discover that and kind of be successful in my guide? Kind of same thing on the Mew. Managing around your empowered auto attack is where most of the Pokemon's power comes through, because like anyone can do that. But then kind of backing it up, getting that damage, kiting it out, pulling this in at the right time, solar beaming, and then getting another like just crazy amount of damage and empowered autos. That's the success. That's Mew at its peak, and then you need to get that rotation masterfully while landing a somewhat interesting skill shot. You want to make sure you're like landing the solar beam, even though it's easier through the light screen. So yeah, the key is be good, land all of your abilities, rotate them perfectly, and that's why the move resetting doesn't matter on Mew with this playstyle, because you're just playing super far back. You have to be a coward. You have to play as safe as possible, but by doing so, you are putting out crazy amounts of damage and influence into the fights. And as long as you're just balancing your ability rotation perfectly, like, yeah, your damage uptime is also really strong, and you're just out there one-shotting people. Now, your Unite move comes online level 8. That's crazy. And it makes you invincible. And it keeps you invincible until you take an action. Now, that's also where things are kind of weird. So, even if you take an action like trying to use an auto attack, that breaks your stealth and breaks your invincibility, even though there's nothing to hit. So you need to be very careful about that. Now, at least you can use your battle item without breaking stealth, so that kind of helps you out. But, light screen, it doesn't do any damage, but that's going to break your stealth. So what you want to do is you want to use your cooldowns, and then you want to use your Unite move, and then you want to wait for your cooldowns while your Unite move is going. That's when you like run your opponents down, you stick to them, you make it to where there's not really anything they can do. You eat cooldowns, like you eat damage as well. So, or you don't eat damage, you just invincible everything. And by doing that, they lose their cooldowns, they lose their damage. You get crazy amounts of burst at the end of your Unite move, then you have Light Screen, Solar Beam comboing again. So you really need to be careful about that. Like, as weird as it feels to not do anything, you just wait. You just chill next to the enemies, and you make it to where there's no counterplay. You make it to where they can't do anything, you get a little bit of damage, and then you pop off again. Or you can also use it to escape and then just not have any worries. Now, I know that really isn't fun or interesting, but you can just play Light Screen Solar Beam Mew and be a perfectly strong S-tier Pokemon, and it does come down to just having innate game sense as to what you're supposed to do. So let's just throw out Solar Beam and miss it. Alright, so we're at 2 stacks. What are we supposed to do with Mew on 2 stacks? We just kind of have to think about how your abilities interact. That's when you still go Light Screen Auto Attack, Solar Beam, pull in the Light Screen Auto Attack. So you can still set up combos and damage from like any kind of weird states, because yeah, missing Solar Beam or forgetting to call in the Light Screen will kind of put you at weird empowered autos, but that's kind of it. Like, Mastery is going to be just immediately knowing what Mew needs to do to have the most damage output. Also, it's worth noting that the quicker you call in Light Screen, the faster it goes on cooldown. So if you leave it out there for a while, or like Solar Beam cooldowns, or not finding auto attacks or something, you just want to pull in the Light Screen, and then that's going to put it on cooldown. That's going to give you more opportunities to do things and keep your damage output. But let's talk about the other moves, because this is where things get interesting for the Mew. Because if we use our abilities, and then we immediately go for the move reset, they're not on cooldown. So you have 2 rotations. Like, you have an extra rotation. You have an extra set of abilities that is not on cooldown. And that's where Mew's potential becomes so crazy, I don't even know where to begin, because you have an extra rotation of abilities. So if you're sitting off of the Light Screen Solar Beam, you can just pop into that whenever you want. And coaching with the cooldown reduction just kind of shows like the synergies are already there. Whatever buttons you press in succession, those are the ones that work together, because you can go Electro Ball from pretty good range, coaching onto allies for the cooldown reduction, another Electro Ball into the move reset for Solar Beam and Light Screen, and then just have all of these other crazy opportunities. Now, I don't think coaching is that good of a move in solo, because there's going to be people like diving and inting in, there's other people on your team that are getting dove. So most time I've used coaching, it just results in me dying. It's a teleport. It blinks you to that location, so it's easy to lose Mew in a fight if they're running coaching. And if they switch to coaching mid-fight, you're not expecting it as an enemy, so you can use that to like get a lot of jukes and still put down a lot of pressure on the Mew. So yeah, it's like Electro Ball, coaching out, still have like crazy Electro Ball damage and backup. Oh my god, that was actually nasty. You can also use other moves with it, like Surf, pretty good with the coaching, since you kind of surf in, you jump a random direction, you teleport to an ally, and then you just keep doing that. Surf is back up, and then you get another push, and depending on like the KOs and takedowns, now you're move resetting again inside the fight on fresh cooldowns, and it's just completely outrageous. Now, another thing that's pretty good is Surf Agility. Also, one thing that's recommended is that you just randomly reset onto the agility at some point, because when you come back to it, you're actually going to have both charges of agility. So agility kind of like lets you go in. It also stacks your passive, or like your empowered auto. Whenever I say passive, I usually mean empowered auto. So you just kind of like use it, and then you can use it. And that's putting you closer into getting your empowered autos. And then you can also like set up empowered autos and dash away for a bit more damage. So it's like empowered auto, agility away, ouchie on the opponent, and then you still have some other tools. So I think you just need to put in time on Mew, like hundreds of games, to where it becomes as simple as breathing to randomly just kind of move reset inside the fight with the cooldowns, but that takes a lot of time. That is something that is like beyond just, hey, here's how you're playing Mew kind of idea. So where it's like, okay, so you agility around, you stack up your autos, and then you can use that, you surf in, immediately like jump off of it, potentially agility away again, then go into the moveset really quick on Light Screen Solar Beam, still have like the empowered auto rotations coming up, and then you're just doing crazy stuff and you're trying to keep that damage uptime. So Mew is only going to get scarier. Like I said, you can be an S tier Mew by just properly playing around your passive, or like playing around your empowered auto attacks and Solar Beam Light Screen. So now the whole thing about managing your auto attacks behind Light Screen Solar Beam gets extra dimensions to a crazy Galaxy Brain level where it's like, okay, I'm on 2 stacks right now, the opponent is getting away, I need to quickly agility, auto attack it, and then again, like, then you surf agility. If you hit the enemy, it's kind of the same thing as the Solar Beams where you get the extra stack. And then depending on, like, if that's an execute, if that's a KO, if that's playing properly, then, like, oh, I'm on another move reset. And then, okay, I got my quick little thing out, back to Light Screen Solar Beam. We're backlining, and we're still just, like, playing at incredible efficiency, and it does AoE damage, so that's also even better. It just, again, it comes down to time on Mews, where, like, I'm just camping out Light Screen Solar Beam for 90% of the game, and then I have 2 pop-off moments where I make the perfect move reset play that just does the right thing at the right time, and then just kind of pops off. And I think this level of skill expression gets a lot better on Mew if, like, Solar Beam Light Screen ends up getting nerfed, or if there's, like, some kind of ability changes going on with it, because now it's actually more important that you're getting those extra moves, those cooldown refreshes and stuff like that. The mind games are also pretty significant because you use your Unite move, and then you can change while being invincible, and then you pop out with a completely new moveset. That's gonna throw your opponent for a loop, and that's gonna make things a bit more complicated for them. So you can do that, and so don't try to get too cute with it. I think that's a big problem. If you try to get too cute with that, where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna, like, change up my moveset for the sake of it, Light Screen Solar Beam might have still been the better one. And it's best at the beginning of the game for the steals, and it's also best at the end game for the steals because of the objectives. So, like, you set up the Light Screen, you Solar Beam, and then you steal and secure every objective. The rule of thumb, if you're playing Venusaur, you need to treat it like you're stealing the objective from your team. That's just the best advice I've discovered about the game because the objectives are so powerful. You always play to steal it in every situation, and that just gets better on Pokemon like Venusaur and Mew. I think there's also some, like, really extra big brain stuff when you're looking at your composition versus the opponent's composition, and then trying to use moves that kind of work into it a little better. Problem is, Mew is so frail, like, you don't want to be surfing in like a Blastoise. Solar Beam AoE damage is just always beating out Electro Ball, unless, like, Light Screen, Electro Ball, execute damage, and, like, weird stuff on top of that. But, like, for the most part, like, yeah, you're just playing Solar Beam, Light Screen, and you're, like, if you have a Cinderace, yeah, you want to coach them every once in a while, and then you can use that for, like, just, like, quick ability resets. Solar Beam, coaching, Solar Beam, change your moves, and then go Light Screen, Solar Beam, Light Screen, empowered auto attack, Solar Beams back up, use it again, bring in your Light Screen, and then, like, it's just a thing. So the Pokemon is wild. It takes a lot of time to, like, get the highest level of mastery, but you can still be very strong on it by just playing better Venusaur. You have Venusaur's best move at level 1, and you're just better. You are also incredibly dependent on the special interactions of your empowered auto attacks, both, like, setting them up and then trying to get distance for the most damage against the enemy Pokemon. So if you're just managing all that and you're playing clean, good skill shot, good kiting, good positioning Pokemon Unite, Mew rewards that incredibly well and maybe better than any other Pokemon, and that's what you need to focus on to win the game. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.